Yo, deal me in, bitch. Welcome to episode 48 of the Strip Poker Night at the Inventory podcast. I am your host, SPNanon, here with the good old nmasp, also known as Kexty, even though you'll never see that because he's just listed as that. Go ahead and say hi.
That was such an aggressive opening. Yeah, hello. Good to see everyone. Also with us on our cast today is If I May. So today is the first half of a beefy recording. We had a lot of technical difficulties last month or so, but we're looking to...
Last 2 months. Our last successful recording was at the beginning of March. Here we are at the end of April. So,
Nice.
It's kind of like how it was last time. We decided on a time, and then I was like a shitter and just, oh, wait, no, that doesn't work.
Then we decided on another time.
Was like, hey, I have actual real life responsibilities. And If I May was just chilling. So we're going to rely on you to be our guest, to be the actual voice of like SPNatI involvement.
I'll say,
because we're just
you want me to take over responsibility for new generation.
You're the new blood. We're just like old and decrepit and wheelchairs. I don't know who is this Aster and Bobobo.
All right, you crusty old bastards. Just you watch how
Senko, who are these characters?
Much I could disappoint you.
To me, Futaba is still brand new. So,
all right. So,
cool.
So if we're done talking about, I guess.
Are we talking about the characters who have hit for main tables testing first, or masquerade? Like, what's the order here?
Hey, I got it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. So So as usual, we're playing catch up because we took way too long to get to this. We said it's like, we'll just do the masquerade characters next time, and then we waited a little long for next time. So masquerade is a little over with, but we'll still get there. We're gonna start off with a couple characters that have hit the main game, even with like a big update or just in general. Then we'll talk about all the characters that are a little newer in the public eye, all the new testing characters that are not part of the masquerade. Then we'll run through the masquerade characters, all the characters that they're older characters. They've gotten big updates, some more than others, but general art and dialogue updates. And then maybe at the end here we'll have a little something extra that you may have caught at the beginning of this month. Who knows?
All right.
So
then,
we all ready to go?
Looks like
all right.
First on the list is Bernie.
All right. If I may, go ahead and lead us in, Bernie from he's an independent.
Bernadetta,
senator from Rhode Island.
Oh yeah, a joke that has never been made ever at any point in history. Yeah, Bernadetta from Fire Emblem Three Houses is actually a character I've worked on. I did roughly half the lines for this character, and HK occasionally does an update for the character, so I'm a little like biased when I talk about the character. I think I'd rather like get your guys' opinions on it, and then I can like talk about like what the development was like and stuff like that.
You've dipped your toes in quite a number of characters at this point.
Yeah, I have. I have a very large appetite.
You're diversifying your assets.
But I got into Bernadetta. Actually, it was kind of funny. There's a character model I wanted. There was a Kisakathlon contest. I don't even know if Horse Killer knows this, but there was it was Horse Killer's Kisakathlon contest, and the prize was he'd make you a free model if you won the Kisakathlon. And I came in second place with my Futaba model, and I wanted that prize. So like, damn it, hey HK, how about I make a character for you? How about I help you out with Bernadetta? Then I then play the favor card and get him to help me with a model down the line. It's kind of just stuck at this point because I really liked writing Bernie. Her passive ability in the game she's from is literally called Persecution Complex. And
God.
My office is literally a closet, so I'll just go in there, close the door, have no light, and just write like my most paranoid thoughts and put that into this like young archer girl who is convinced that the entire world is trying to kill her, and she's not exactly wrong. So it's very fun to write. It's very fun
going around killing people, right?
Oh yeah, every Fire Emblem character you see has killed at least like 50 guys.
I mean, I feel like that's pretty justified at that point.
Yeah.
I would be expecting someone to try to kill me.
Well, I mean, I could go into her backstory, but it wouldn't be that interesting to talk about, and also distraction. So,
we never get distracted on this podcast.
No, never. Heaven forbid.
I can't suffer that.
But I don't know. What do you guys think of Bernie in the game?
I like her. I think she honestly, I've said my thoughts on Bernie in a previous cast. I think she's really cute. I think she is definitely like, there's this weird stereotype of like, these uwu moe blobs, but I like the fact that she's just like paranoid and skittish as fuck without it ever feeling like predatory, I guess, like if you play a game with her. So I think she's done really well. I'm really glad that she's in the game. It will be interesting to see. I really hope the upkeep with her stays on top of it. I think the thing I notice a lot is like these characters that are writing, the Fire Emblem zeitgeist or whatever of the time, and then they're just not getting updates anymore. I really hope that Bernie keeps getting updates.
I mean, I think it will happen because because HK is always asking me to update the character. You can tell that this is his character, right? Like Horse Killer has so many beloved characters in the game, but Bernadetta is his character. Like this is like, so I think as long as HK's working, then the character will always receive updates, and I'm always happy to provide them whenever I have the actual amount of time to do it. But spnanon, your thoughts on Bernie?
I'm really excited to have our first Fire Emblem character in the game.
Yeah.
It's true. What an underrepresented franchise.
To give you some first off, Three Houses. Let's be specific. It's the latest Fire Emblem game, and they're all completely different from each other. So clearly,
to be fair, Three Houses is kind of different from the other games. But
is it because they're all in school uniforms? Is that it?
I mean, it's like the Fire Emblem Harry Potter Persona hybrid. Like that's basically what it is.
Okay, you play as like a teacher, right?
You're a mercenary who's hired as a teacher at a military school.
So basically, your goal is to like fuck all your students. I'm sure this is right up the masp's alley.
What? No.
Weren't you the one railing against like Kawakami?
Oh yeah, no, I hate Kawakami.
Oh, I don't. Yeah, the Kawakami ship is weird. I mean, yeah, you could say that with Three Houses, but like they pull off the anime bullshit that you are roughly the same age. So
sure, why not?
Yeah, it's total anime bullshit. Yeah. You could also romance the Pope in that game, so that's bonus points.
Okay. You know what? I'm into that. Let's romance the Pope.
Can you post a picture of this Pope?
Okay. Sure. I can pull that up real quick. It's not even the last Three Houses character we're going to talk about.
Hey, baby, let's do some papal.
Let's see.
Did we talk about Leone last time?
Has Leone been talked about?
Last time, yes.
Okay, cool.
We're just going to talk about all the Fire Emblem characters today.
Where's her hat?
Huh?
Where's the Pope?
It's her crown. It's her Pope crown. She doesn't need a hat.
No hat, no point.
Anyway, so to give you some context for how long we put off discussing Bernie, apparently she joined the main game
in February?
In November?
Oh my god, what? Wow, we just forgot entirely. My god.
To be fair,
I really fucking forgot about this for like 3 episodes.
That's what she'd want. Is she want you to just forget she exists. Like that's like her number one goal.
To give you an actual opinion on Bernie, I kind of agree with what nmasp was saying. I like how she's sort of like that uwu moe blob archetype, but I don't know, she kind of makes it funny because it's taken to like its logical extreme where she's such like a shrinking violet, like it's become just paranoia. She's like a cuter Tomoko, like a medieval Tomoko.
The game like pulls it off really well too by basically just giving Bernie a lot of reasons to be terrified of the other characters. Like one of them is Jock Ingrid. She like kicks down Bernadetta's door so Bernadetta can start working out. And Bernadetta is like, my door, why? Like that's my favorite quote from Bernadetta.
Fire Emblem 3 House is available now for Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, I'm just gonna market this game because it's my favorite freaking game.
I think it's funny that like 3 House has been out for what, like a year and a half or something?
Roughly year and a half. Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure like every Fire Emblem character we've gotten since then has been a 3 Houses character. Like it's just completely fucking taken over.
Because there's a lot of really good. You're a fan of a Fire Emblem character, especially 3 Houses.
The smash fucking hit. Like we used to get Fire Emblem characters from like a variety of the series. Like there were characters from like the Game Boy games were like the dominant presence in SPNatI, and now it's all 3 Houses.
I miss La Rochelle.
There's a big divide in the Fire Emblem fandom itself, from the pre-Awakening fans and the post-Awakening fans, and now it's like the Free Houses fans who are new as well. Like
I watched a video on like the history of Fire Emblem the other day.
Yeah, I came in post-Awakening. Awakening got me into it. And by the way, we have had a massive update to Lucina that we will not be talking about on this podcast, even though I worked so hard on it.
There's always next time. I'm sure we will get to it in a reasonable amount of time.
Lucina's been on testing forever. She can wait a little longer.
Yeah, I know. No, I mean, I want to move on soon because we've been on Fire Emblem and Bernie for a while. But I mean,
just giving it the proper time it deserves.
No,
anyway, the impression I got from that video was that like a Fire Emblem didn't make any money until Awakening.
Basically, Awakening was gonna be the last game in the series, basically, and that it actually did good.
Which I found surprising because it's like, what did fucking Melee Marth and Roy not do shit?
No, it didn't.
Why didn't they make any money?
I honestly I can't
from,
really answer, but people think that like it was all the waifu shit that made the game popular, and
Probably.
I think that's part of it. I think it's also that the game's just a lot prettier now. Like the character design, like I'm gonna be honest with you, old Fire Emblem, I don't like that many of the character designs. Like it's like anime, but it feels like they're like kind of. I should be careful with what I say here. It's like it's anime, but it feels a little bit more on the older, like early 2000s kind of cruder, low budget side, you know. And then like Awakening got like this big glow up where everyone's really pretty all of a sudden. And like I think that helped people get into it. I think also it just came out at the right time on the right console. There's a lot of factors of it.
Well, it's 3D models, so they can do like you can do source filmmaker porn.
I mean, in Awakening, everyone has no toes. There's a meme in the community called Awakening feet, where because all the characters have horse hooves for feet, basically. Like, yeah, no, for models in Awakening are not good. Like, they're 3DS models, and everyone's very boxy. But the art sells it. So, like, hold on, I can't even post a picture while you guys move on to the next subject.
Well, I guess I'll end off with this discussion by just like posting Bernie playing her Nintendo Switch.
As we ought to.
Oh yeah, no, it's a Swatch
with Neptune, which I've never gotten that interaction. But I should probably target that.
This is adorable.
Yeah, that is cute. And there's a lot of fan art of Bernie playing a Switch because again, Bernie like hides in the room all the time. Yeah, I think that's enough for Burndev for now.
Solitaire, I want you to censor that image with Awakening horse hooves.
Awakening horse hooves. Perfect. All right, that's enough time on Bernie. We're going to be coming back with Hilda and Leone later on anyways. So
anyways, we already talked about Leone last time.
Oh, we did? All right, cool. But Hilda anyways. So we're going to Polly is the Monster Prom character.
Yeah, so we spent about 20 minutes on the first character, so we're moving right along.
Good job.
Anyway, now we got a character who's dead.
Yes.
420, blaze it.
She just did a shitload of coke. That's my headcanon. That seems like the most likely explanation for why she's dead.
I really like Polly. She's a really interesting character. She's like a party girl, but she's also a ghost, so it's just kind of weird. Like I really like the weirdo characters. I think is really my biggest takeaway. Like if the weirder the character fucking is, the more I like them. But she's cute. She's really cool. I think she adds like a lot of interesting dynamics to the game, and she's just really funny. I think it's sort of like I think characters like Moon and Panty. The problem is like they play themselves very seriously, but I think like Polly gives that element of humor to it, which is like, oh, okay, that I think makes it a little bit more enjoyable. So I do like Polly. The art's also really slick. She's really cool.
If I may was supposed to go first.
Yeah, how dare you?
Yeah, I know, but I'm doing what I want to.
How am I going to link my SoundCloud nmasp? Polly is an excellent character. It's Carble's first character, I believe.
Fittingly, like 5 guys working her at the same time.
Polly came out of freaking nowhere. Like that's the thing. Like Carbo was working on Polly for a while, but then like Polly just came out at one point. I just remember I'm like, oh yeah, Carbo was like posting something about lines. Character comes out, has like 2,000 lines, like in a secret like boss mode that I haven't even tried yet. I think that's really cool. And
what is boss mode?
If you play Polly with a table of nothing but guys, apparently it triggers a boss mode in her, where
like because a bunch of guys are trying to bust her.
and like she like her dialogue changes, and I think her AI becomes the best like for the entire game.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I think you get a collectible for beating it. So like it's almost like she's like the Akuma of the game.
And that's the kind of like charming extra features that I really like on a character.
No, Polly is just all around an excellent character. I always like a character where they introduce me to a new IP and I kind of get more interested in it because of them. In this case, Monster Prom, because I've heard about it a lot. Like a lot of theater kids talk about it, right?
Really?
But
Really?
yeah. I was in a theater troupe.
We're such fucking boomers.
So many people. Oh yeah, Monster Prom. I freaking they like talk about their favorite characters, and I'm like, who's that? And they're like,
if you try to talk to me about video games, I'd just be like, hey, Wario World on the GameCube.
Dude, Wario World on the GameCube is a gem. Polly, overall, I don't have too much to say about Polly because it's just like, it's a really good character. It's a kind of character we don't have a lot of. I think what I like about Polly is how accessibly she bounces off of other characters. Like, you can give her almost any character and almost any personality type, and if they target her, she's going to have some kind of way to interact with them that's entirely unique to her. Like, I remember me and Carbo were discussing Yusuke interactions with Polly. Basically having Polly just want to fuck Yusuke's persona, which, I mean, is perfectly in character and would annoy the hell out of him. Like, again, no other character can do that. I genuinely, I think it's a funny character. And the art backs it up.
Okay, so nmasp is going to be right back. Apparently, he's probably going to get more pizza or something.
Okay, it's just you and me, spnanon. We're best buds.
Yeah, no, I'm sure Polly can handle us both at the same time.
Oh yeah, totally.
I mean, I'm usually pretty happy to see like kind of sexually forward characters because I feel like that.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
They play well into the game. Like, I think the writers kind of avoid having them sort of fade away as the game goes on.
Yeah, because they're engaged. Like, they want to be there. And I'm actually, I have a character in mind I want to bring that up with later. But it's, I don't think every character needs to be quite as interested in the game as someone like Polly, right? But it's such a welcome change of pace whenever it's done well.
It avoids that kind of stumbling block that a lot of characters or a lot of writers have if they start with like a more reserved character, where they just like are really unwilling to like flirt.
And all those characters kind of end up saying the same thing, right?
Yeah,
so
Polly kind of gets around that. I will say I have criticism for based on this official reference art that I posted. She's got a massive rack. Her tits in game should be bigger.
It's still pretty big. Like, I don't know. I think the model does a good job of it. Yeah, no, I think the model does a good job with it. You could.
I'm sure it's like an art style change. It's
because
like,
it's Keisuke we're working with here.
Keisuke tits are like weird anti-gravity. They don't go like far off enough to the sides, and like here, like her top's kind of pushing them up a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good compromise with Keisuke. They could be arguably more custom, but it still looks pretty good, right?
I'm gonna criticize her stripping pose here. Her panties are not like, they look like they should be like kind of wrapped around her ankles, and they're not.
Clearly, 0 out of 10 character. I take back every nice thing I could have possibly said.
Like, what the fuck, man? Hey, speaking of criticisms, what happened to Yusuke, man? You just let him drop off.
Basically, with Yusuke, I fell into the old trap of, I'm going to update this character with 2 lines, and then I'm going to leave, because I was basically working on Lucina, and I want to get Lucina out by a certain period of time, because I said I would get her out so that they could start working on her Easter alt, and now that's happened. And Yusuke's deadline was the same day as Lucina's deadline, and I had to crunch to get Lucina's done. So I kind of figured it would just be best to just let Yusuke fall off for now, especially because I think he was overstaying his welcome on the tables. Like, there was no reason to really play him because he wasn't changing at a rapid rate. And so we lost nmasp. All right. So it's just you and me, Spnanon. It's officially. I'm ready to replace nmasp. I'm ready to be your co-host for the rest of time. How does that make you feel?
Feel like nmasp was getting held up at the pizza parlor.
Oh, okay, fine. I thought this was my chance, but no. I thought Yusuke was overstaying his welcome. And I basically, now that he's offline, I kind of feel more content to just kind of experiment around with him. And once I put him online again, he's going to basically be the focus, and I'm just going to push him towards sponsorship. And that will be that.
You know, you really could have just. I mean, why do that when you could just submit like a one-line update for him every month?
Because again, like, what does the one-line update do for the character? It's a loophole, right? Like,
which we've been talking about, like trying to address that with the mod team. Like, characters have been spending like regularly like 8 months on testing,
and that's the thing, right? I don't think that's healthy for the game, and
it's like you're just tinkering with them, like either shit or get off the pot, as nmasp would say.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think we actually kind of have a problem where we have too many testing characters right now.
Either you're not making progress and they don't even really feel like testing characters anymore, or they're basically done. And they don't feel like testing characters anymore, so just go for sponsorship. Like, it's not a big deal.
Yeah, no, exactly.
I warned them this would happen when they changed the sponsorship to be harder.
Well,
no one listened.
I'm not opposed to sponsorship being more difficult per se, because
you know how hard it is to be right all the time.
No, because I am right all the time.
I am a modern Cassandra.
Okay.
No one listens.
No.
Speaking of Cassandra and the heavenly stars above. Here we have Supernova.
Yes. I'd argue the most
original character.
Most successful OC we've had, I'd say. I can't think of an OC that's done better than Supernova.
I mean, what's the criteria there?
Let's see. We got Alia, we got Alia, we got the clown lady.
Are you talking about like
Croy, I think? No, that's
like resort performance? Did she do the best out of all your characters?
No, no, it's just the fact that Supernova actually like has a few people. You see her in screenshots every now and then. People actually seem to play the character, and people seem to enjoy the character for the most part.
Let's see where she ended up. Go ahead and talk for a while.
Oh, well, what did you say? What was the question?
How do you feel? How do you feel about Supernova?
I'm normally kind of biased against OCs because I think that you really have to sell the character, right? Like, I think that in order, because you have so many cool characters to choose from, you literally have.
She wasn't even included in the resort, or I think she was, but she didn't. She's down at the bottom. Damn.
I mean, but that's kind of the issue of being an OC, right? Is even if you're a good OC like Supernova, you have an entire ocean of character. You have the entire ocean of fiction to compete with, right? Like, and it has to be like, hey, this is my character, this is what makes them special, and this is why they're debuting in a porn parody game, right? Like, I mean, like, I don't know. I haven't ever seen a OC where I'm like, yes, this is a character that belongs in SPNatI, right? Like, I haven't seen that yet. But I also don't really fault people for it because it's an excuse to, write your character and to get people to actually see it. Like, I think that's one of the biggest benefits of SPNatI to new writers. It's certainly a benefit I've enjoyed is getting people to actually see your work and to actually comment on it and share it and react to it. Like, that's enticing. But the landscape for those characters, the landscape for OCs is incredibly harsh. Because people are more likely to forget about the character after a while. And I also think that you're less likely to get help, right? Because the way you get help in this game is you're either friends with someone that can help you out, which even then is not guaranteed to get you help on a specific character. It usually happens because the person loves the character too. Right? Like, that's how these collaborative projects happen, is everyone involved likes the character enough to take time to work on them. And that just doesn't happen with OCs. So they're almost always 100% independent projects. And I think that's just a constant uphill battle that I would personally never want to fight. I mean, Welcome back, nmasp. We're talking about OCs, specifically Supernova, but I'm talking about like kind of just how difficult it is to pick an OC as your character and make it work.
Did you enjoy your pizza?
Hey, how's it going, guys? I'm back.
Is there a rewind button? Can I redo what I just said to nmasp?
Oh, he heard the whole thing.
Okay. But yeah, we're just talking about OCs.
Guess, like, really some surprises for me, I guess.
You're a little bit in the background there.
Yeah, I know. It's because I'm on my phone and I have to drive somewhere for some stupid. Anyway.
Oh, okay.
Don't crash,
Yeah.
nmasp.
So
I don't want to turn this into like a snuff film.
nmasp dies live.
to the mass curdling death scream. So I think we were talking about Supernova, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Supernova in the state of OCs, basically. Like, what do you think about OCs in nmasp? Like in SPNatI?
I mean, I think every character is an OC. If you ask me, no, I think like OC. I think
Spiciest
you know,
take.
like my actual take is basically that like I think OCs have a place in SPNatI, but I do think that it's like it's hard to get.
Oh, he's cutting out.
We're losing you.
More accessible. Sorry, I'll just tell you what. I'll go ahead and call you guys back when I'm back at my place. But feel
All
free
right.
to just keep going. I'll chat with you whenever. Sorry about
Okay.
this. It was just kind of urgent, a little
Of
ridiculous. I'll
All right.
catch up later.
Nmasp swerves into oncoming traffic and dies. Abby.
It's like
Yep.
those Wario dies videos.
Okay.
Fucking nmasp.
Oh, he
he's
just
gone
died.
again.
Yeah.
Okay. Well. Okay.
The elusive nmasp episode.
Solitaire's gonna have a hell of a time editing his tracking. Gonna have to boost that shit.
All right. So, what are your thoughts on OC Spinanon? Specifically, you could talk about Supernova specifically, but also just in general.
Yeah, it's a little rough being an OC because you can tell because this was a conversation about Supernova on her own merits and it immediately turned into what do you think about OCs?
Yeah, you're right. Like that kind of sucks. You know,
It's inextricably linked.
it is like it's just going to be this like bias against OCs by default. This is a conversation that's going to happen every time with an OC.
Anyway, she to give you some more context, Polly released in January and Supernova released in February. I think we just completely forgot to talk about these main roster releases.
I mean, there haven't been that many, which I think is another side
They're all
effect.
stuck on testing for some fucking reason.
That's a part of a side effect, right? But no, I think Supernova is good though, right? Like I think Supernova fits the game. I've seen the development of the character, seen the character start out struggling, and eventually the character kind of found her niche, right?
Cute. She's cute. It's
it's good art, right?
I feel like she hasn't like seen a whole lot of updates since release though.
I mean, I think he's working on that other Monster Prom character. I can't remember the character's name, but it's like the Cthulhu girl.
Zoe.
But I mean, he's an excellent artist. Ninja Monkey's an excellent artist. Like, and I'm glad
he progressed pretty quickly.
I'm glad to see him working on again other established characters at the moment. Like, honestly, that's my other thing. Going back to Yusuke falling offline is, I can just one thing with Yusuke is he's my first character, right? So many characters have that first character feel where it doesn't kind of matter. It's almost like a different state when you're making them, a different mind state. Like, I feel like I was a different person when I started that project than who I am now, and I haven't even finished it yet, which is another reason I'm taking.
You make all the classic mistakes.
Yeah, exactly. So to the new creators out there, I say just be very decisive with your first characters and just kind of go for it, because how you feel about them is probably going to change over time, right? And you're going to be writing characters completely differently by the time you finish that character.
I wonder if he's feeling the allure of like making an established character with stuff to work with. That's why he hasn't updated her too much.
Honestly, it's a strong allure, right? like there's so many characters that would work great in that game. And again, I think I really wish I could remember the character's name, the Cthulhu girl.
I think it's Zoe.
Zoe, that's her name. Yeah. Zoe. It might just be Zoe. Excellent addition. Excellent addition. Fantastic art. And I'm excited for the character. Like I think that's gonna be his real like debut breakout.
If I had a picture, I'd post it. I'm sure if you look in the Kisuke channels, you can find her pretty easily. So
Yeah.
Solitaire, go ahead and do that.
But yeah, I think that's enough on Supernova for now. How about Sayori?
What about Sayori?
Excellent art update. It kind of leaves Monica in the dust, right? Like, and which is weird because I've seen an excellent Monica art update around, but it hasn't been applied yet. I really don't like how Sayori is written. I'm almost tempted to go in there at some point and just change it up myself. Like if no one else does it, because I think that it's like, oh, she starts the game depressed and then her depression is magically cured at the end of the game. Like that just bothers me. But at least one of her problems has been fixed in that her art is excellent now. I think that I don't know if she'll ever have the same success as, even if you did change her dialogue up a bit, I don't think she'll ever have the same success as Natsuki and Yuri, or even Amy. Like those are tough characters to compete against, and they're already so well established in the game. It's almost like Sayori came too early. Same with Monica, right? It's almost like they joined the roster way too early.
Who among us has never came too early?
Fair. Wise words, spnanon. Wise words. Why don't you give us some more with your thoughts on Sayori?
She looks really cute. If you pulled me aside when she started getting an art update and asked me, like, which character is in desperate need of an art update, I wouldn't have said Sayori. I mean, I'm not really a DDLC fan, but I thought she looked fine, and I think she looks good now, so I'm pretty neutral on it.
Mm-hmm.
She did stir up a bunch of, controversy on 4chan or whatever, the way art updates always do, because they're blind apparently.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much any art update that happens to an older character now is inevitable. Is going to be good, right?
I should probably make a new thread on that at some point. I hope you realize that we put the reason we're talking about her is because she had to be responsored because she got new art, and that rule that you have to be responsored for new art was put in place because of like shitty updates that the Ruby's old writer made when he wasn't their original artist. So that rule was put in place to stop that from happening, and every art update since it has been good. So it's pointless.
I was wondering why that was. So it's basically because someone abused a loophole. Basically, isn't that how like most rules are made?
So that rule has been completely pointless and hasn't stopped anyone from just shitting on a character.
Yeah. I think the last thing I want to say, it's not Super Sayori related, but if any old character needs an art update, I think it's Pit, because Pit's an excellent character. But he's got like, I don't want to say Stone Age model, right? But it's a very like old school model, and it's like top of the line for its time, right? Like it still holds up pretty decently, but by today's standards, it's just he looks so out of place if you put him at a table.
Dude, you're talking about when I was new.
Yeah, was that like when was that when Pit was added?
Basically.
Huh. No, I think that
came out a little bit after Mayo.
I think that from a writing perspective, he absolutely deserves a spot at the top of the roster. But I think that with an art update, he would really cement himself as a permanent top character.
Pit will never be a top. Don't be ridiculous.
He has wings, though.
They don't work.
Oh, fair point. He needs Palutena's blessing to get them to work, and doesn't that say everything?
This bitch can't even read. I still need to have like Revy make fun of him for that, because even Revy knows how to read.
Even Revy knows how to read. Right. Next up is we're moving on to the testing characters now.
Yes, indeed. So these are characters that are still on testing, many of which should probably just move into sponsorship already. Come on, move things along, but you never know.
Well, first up is Aster.
Aster from Bionicle.
I'm gonna be honest. I know literally nothing about this dude.
Excuse me. That's Evenical. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and post his 0 horny shonen protagonist looking ass .png pose.
All right, show me. Yeah. That's his stock pose.
Okay, so this is the description I offered before we started recording, but I believe Aster is like watered down Rance. He's like Rance, but a little bit more palatable in terms of like not raping everything.
Like family friendly. You called him family friendly Rance, I think, or is it Rance? Like
I don't fucking know.
Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, I really wish I had more to say about this character, but he doesn't jump out to me, right?
He's got that classic. He's got that modern isekai protagonist.
Yeah, he kind of just looks like an isekai protagonist, right? Like that's the thing.
Normal high school student,
and like I don't want to just
sensible haircut.
It's a Walter character too, so like and Walter's relatively well established, I believe. Like I think Walter has made other characters, right?
He made Mary. He kind of worked on Ruka and Deimos, and they didn't quite take off.
Oh, he's the Deimos guy.
He's been in and out in a couple different projects, much like you.
I think that.
Oh, I think he worked on Guzma too.
We need more like just straight up dude characters, right?
I mean, speak for yourself.
But I think that if any of them are going to stand a chance, then I speak for the whole community, SPNanon. You and your old generation trying to gatekeep. But no, I think we need more dude characters, but I think if you're going to have a dude character, they have to have something about them that stands out, like that's very distinct. Because otherwise, because you have a character like Jim Raynor who, has these like custom muscles. You got Bobobo, who we'll be bringing up later, right? Like, I don't know. I think that Aster just kind of struggles to sell himself. Like I'm looking at him right now, and he just seems like this. Again, I'm looking at like some of his dialogue. Like I'm scrolling through it, and he's like this relatively just nice dude,
I think his thing is like he's a harem protagonist and he has like a whole bunch of wives.
Oh, okay. I'm surprised we don't have more of those protagonists in this. Actually, no, I'm not.
I don't know if his thing is supposed to be like he strolls into this game. I mean, this is the kind of game he would be the star of, and he just like expects all the girls to jump on his dick.
I mean, that could be funny from a parody perspective, but the issue is that most harem protagonists are brown-haired guy number 76.
That's what this guy is.
Yeah, that's what he is. Like, they literally exist to be unrelatable, and not unrelatable. They exist to be as relatable and bland, and as you can put yourself in their shoes as possible, guys. Right? And I feel like I'm kind of shitting on a character that I don't know that much about, and that makes me feel kind of bad, right? But it's kind of just the first impression you get when you look at the character. I've been talking for a while. What do you guys say about it?
I want to offer more criticism, but I feel like his development's kind of slowed down.
I haven't been keeping an eye on it. I mean, people haven't really been talking about him that much, right? Like, I haven't really seen him come up in that many screenshots.
Well, that's the thing. We have like 40 characters on testing, so if you don't keep updating, you will quickly be replaced.
That's the thing.
In the zeitgeist.
That's another reason why I took Yusuke offline, because no one was playing him, because there's all these other characters on testing, right? I think that the testing overpopulation issue, let's call it that, makes it sound more serious, more grave, it genuinely gets in the way of characters like Aster, where it's like nowadays to be on testing, you have to either have to last on testing, to have people continually come back to you on testing, you have to have either be an insanely top quality character or have an immense amount of star power. And going into that later, I don't think star power itself is even enough to stay relevant on testing for too long. I don't know. It's kind of become like this place. It's almost become a lot more competitive, I think. I don't mean to cut you off. It's still your turn.
fine. I mean, there's only two of us, so.
Well, fair.
I really wish nmasp were here because he's a known fan of Aragaze. All he does is play him. He totally ignores his wife.
You know what? I'm gonna take nmasp spot for you and say, how dare you? How dare you speak with such slander? I imagine he'd say something like that. Not that I know him too well, but
I think he's definitely got an interesting angle that he could take if he was just like super smug, strolled up and just like hit on all these girls and expected them to like instantly fall for him. You know how it is, and like you have like one conversation with them. That's just it. You're just in there.
That could be really funny, right? I think you need for right character. Like it almost feels like that. Like Kazuma would be a character for that.
He's like a successful Kazuma.
Yeah, a successful Kazuma. Like you can't really do that with Kazuma. In fact, that's one reason I don't really like playing Kazuma. Is the joke with Kazuma is that he's always suffering and failing, and him being in SPNatI makes it feel like he succeeded, and that makes me feel like just like no, screw Kazuma, screw that guy, right? And I think that's kind of the issue because when a character responds generically to you, the default is usually they're going to be attracted to the character, right? So if you have the joke that you have this harem character coming in, he expects everyone to be all over him. Well, half the roster's going to be flirting with him anyway, so I don't know if the joke quite works to that extent. I don't know if you could make that joke work,
You'd need a lot of targets to try to approximate it.
Yeah.
So anyway, moving on to Asuna Yuuki of Sword Art Online. Apparently, she is also a harem protagonist. Almost.
Who, Asuna?
Yeah.
God, I don't know much about Sword Art.
She's got her own harem, right?
I don't know much
of exclusively Kirito.
I don't know much about Sword Art Online since it was originally being shit on back when it was first coming out. Yeah, I just played Asuna to prepare for this podcast, and I have quite a few thoughts about her. Could you go first on this one, though, spnanon? Because I feel like, you've seen original Asuna. I don't know if you were around when original Asuna came out, but...
When she came out? No, she was like the fucking 6th character ever made.
Really? That old?
Something like... she's close. She's probably in the first 10.
One question
Asuna was around for a long time. Look at the size of her fucking head.
The head is massive.
Goddamn stuck a balloon pump in her neck. Like, why did we ever think this was acceptable?
Wow, that's like she has like a default Chan face too. Like just straight up.
Well, yeah, what did you expect?
That's fair. Is her collar custom though? Like maybe that's a little impressive for the time. Like,
no, it's not custom.
Okay.
Nothing's fucking custom.
Technically, actually,
dude, she was made in like what Kisake version 20.
Dude, her belts are custom. Let's go with that. They had to customly put those 2 belts.
Oh my god, the mask was back.
I'm back.
N to the M to the A to the S.
We're on Asuna rework.
The model is way better. Wow, look at that.
Yeah, the model is way better, but
that's par for the course at this point.
Yeah.
I think my problem with the new model though is I don't know why they didn't go with the iconic outfit, right? Like I
feel like I'm NTR in Kirito. Like not that Kirito does not deserve to be NTR'd, but it feels like that's kind of my.
You're a resident Sword Art Online expert. Can you please tell us about Asuna?
Yeah, you've actually seen Sword Art Online. Like
I've only watched Sword Art Online on a Brit. Actually, no, that's not true. I watched the original when I was really drunk one night in college.
All right, so what do you remember?
What's in college? Anyway.
That still gives you more credential. I've only watched reviewers tear into it.
I remember being really mad. I remember being really mad that it wasn't .hack and just like raging, like angrily yelling at my roommate who's like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And also, you need to stop drinking as much. And I'm like, "Well, fuck you," and then I watched the rest of the series. So basically, Kirito is kind of stupid. Asuna is very generic anime waifu. She's supposed to be like kind of tough, but the story never really gives her any agency to do that. So
isn't she like a damsel in distress? Does she get
pretty much
caught up in like some weird?
I wish we had Corky on here because he like just watched Sword
did
Art
he?
Online. He would have some hot opinions.
Koike would probably have some things to say.
Probably.
I mean, I have things to say about Asuna as
Fucking Pink Corky, get him in here right now, so we can
you
have
want me to
someone
do
who
it?
can
I could do it.
do it. So we can
All
like
right,
have someone
fucking
like
do it.
talk intelligently about this character.
Hey,
All I know is that like Sword Art Online came out, and then like it was probably really popular, and then it became popular to shit on it because everyone's fucking irony drenched, fucking humorless piece of shit now.
yeah, that was the thing. That's how I got introduced to it.
I've never seen it, so I'm not gonna hate it just because other people tell me to hate it.
Just let people enjoy. Just let people enjoy things. Like I think it's okay. Like I thought it was like it's very generic, but it's not like that's not.
It's probably just like generic trope filled isekai.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
I mean, it was basically the isekai for
That's
a
what
while.
I mean. Like it's probably just that, and it's probably not really that offensive.
It's just dot hack. It's really just dot
But
hack.
I think at the same time people are allowed to make fun of it because making fun of it's fun. Like I mean,
Yeah, I mean you can think
Well,
it's like
that's probably why Sword Art Online Abridged is like popular because it's like
Yeah.
it's making fun of like the original.
but it's also like you don't want to shit on people just for liking it.
no. I mean like you're allowed to enjoy things. Like who cares?
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, this has been a Sword Art Online discussion when we should be talking about the character.
Yeah, I want to talk about Asuna as an actual SPNatI character because I just played a few rounds with Asuna and I have some impressions. Asuna is really like I didn't get a super good first impression, right? Because the character has like 5,000 lines, and I honestly can't keep track of any of them because they're really long. Like they're really long and really referential. Like a lot of the lines are roughly a paragraph, like they're multiple sentences where it's like you could cut the line in half. You could stop the line at the first sentence and it would probably be just as effective.
Dude, I have this great idea. Let's do mouse over text.
Oh my god! Don't you start with me, motherfucker.
You know what? I'm not gonna ask. But I think she has way too many lines, and I'm assuming not much feedback on the lines because this is a new creator. It's one of his first characters, and again, she has 5,000 lines. And I haven't seen him talk on the server.
Yeah, we should probably mention that, right? She debuted with 5,000 fucking
Yeah, that's
lines.
a lot of fucking lines. Holy shit.
I can't keep track of any of them because they're all too long.
Hey, he'd been working on her writer had been working on her for 2 years, so it's time to make the obvious joke.
Yes. It's a long time to work on a character.
2 years.
Don't you do it.
2 years worth of dialogue just made a glopping noise as it flowed endlessly onto the testing tables.
I feel like also she has the issue of it really feels like she doesn't want to be there, which I think is an extra issue when you consider the character is actually in a relationship, even if it's not like, you know, the greatest romance written of all time. It definitely kind of carries a little bit of an uncomfortable air to it, I'd say. Like, I don't know. A lot of the time I would like read some of her dialogue and then I would just kind of like daze off and start reading other character dialogue instead. And that sounds really harsh, but
Matt, you wrote a character who was already in a relationship for this game.
I did.
Let's see, which character was it?
Adrian and Marinette are in a relationship in canon.
Yeah, but you wrote that you brought them both in. Like
Yeah.
that's the
Well,
thing.
I started with Marinette and then I added Adrian and then Adrian stayed and Marinette is in development hell. But you know, someday.
So clearly to make this work, we need to someone needs to make Kirito, and then he'll just be like, hey buddy, let's double team her.
Oh god. I mean, I think that's that's the implication. I think like for characters that are in like established relationships, you need to have an element of that, or else it's just uncomfortable for everyone.
Yeah.
And like, I'm sorry if your taste is like, well, I want to like NTR this. Like, no, you don't. Stop.
No, you don't.
Go to horny jail.
Bonk. Yeah, but condensed version. I think too many lines. The lines are too long and too referential. There's a lot of name dropping, and I don't know who any of these people are. It's a lot of just classic first creator mistakes, except stretched out over a really long period of time.
You don't want 5,000 lines of first creator mistakes.
No,
I mean, I don't.
Then you turn into me.
I don't think the dialogue. I think the dialogue is fine, but it's also like there's probably like as someone who is not super sure of the series, I don't know if this is like accurate or not, but I don't know. I don't think like I think that like for what it's worth, like when we're saying first creator mistakes, we're not saying like oh the dialogue is bad. It's just that like
yeah,
you can't like that's a commitment. Like if you come to the table with like 500 lines and like half of them suck, that then you only have to rewrite like 250. All right, Corky, tell us about Asuna.
My summoning spell worked.
You want me to tell you about Asuna?
Corky, this is now the Sword Art Online hour. Please tell us all about Asuna.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah. None of us have watched Sword Art Online, so
Everyone get in here. Start. We're just gonna keep adding more guests on as the cast goes on.
What do you want to know about Asuna?
Just anything.
Anything. Throw us a bone.
Verbal diarrhea. Give us your thoughts on Sword Art Online.
She's hot. She is empowering, and she is independent.
Isn't she like a sex slave for the entirety of a season?
Yes.
I feel like that kind of contradicts those statements.
What?
It does. It's complicated.
Is that going to be your epilogue, where she's your sex slave?
She's like in a tower, and there's like this elf dude who keeps her like chained up naked or something. Like it's really very yikes.
SAO is a really weird, complicated anime that started really strong and then started making a lot of really bad, weird, creative decisions. So, season 2 has some cool things in it, but a lot of people criticize it because it kind of destroys Asuna as a character. So, that's why there's contradictions.
Well,
I'd destroy Asuna. You know what I mean?
What season is the current design she's using from? Like, is that a season 3 design? Or
I think it's from a movie. I don't know. I stopped watching it during the Death Gun season. There was a scene when a character is like getting bullied because she's afraid of guns.
What?
Yeah, so a bully comes with a gun and points the gun at her and is like, "I'm going to shoot you because you're afraid of guns." And
like in real life.
Yeah, this doesn't happen.
Oh my god!
It happens in real life.
Oh fuck!
And because of what she learned in VR, this is supposed to be her big like character arc moment. She like does like a kick-ass like move and steals the gun from the bully, and then she hands it back to her and says, "I'm better than you." Basically, it's so stupid. I just stopped watching when that happened.
Yes, I remember when I maxed out my cooking skill in World of Warcraft and I suddenly became a master chef and all my friends came over to my house to enjoy a nice meal.
Yes, I learned everything I learned about cooking from World of Warcraft. You just, I don't know, you just find food and makes you faster.
Yeah, you just kind of like pound your hand.
It gives you a haste, it gives you 25 haste. Yeah, it gives you 25 haste for the next 30 minutes.
So, Corky, have you tried Asuna in SPNatI?
Yeah. I think she's... Asuna is like a really weird thing because she came in with like 5,000 million lines.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about.
Okay, so I won't reshed on that. I think she's pretty good. I went in depth on her character channel that like she doesn't seem like she wants to play the game at all.
Yeah, that's an issue.
And that's like the biggest problem with her is that she expresses no interest. So when you play with her, you're like, why are you here? You obviously aren't enjoying this game. Why are you staying? So we've talked about it with her developer a lot, and he's working on it. I'm sure he'll get her to a place where she's still in character and not like over lusting on people, which wouldn't make sense, but at least is there for like a reason and enjoys the game and all that good stuff.
Okay, so the developer's actually open to feedback.
All right. Okay. So, by the way, you were totally free to just like stick around the whole time if you want to.
I can if you want me to, but I'm not prepared or anything.
You're free to bounce at any point. We just brought you in here.
What if like Corky's just our shadow man? Like he just sits in the shadows, and as soon as we start talking like idiots, he just
he's just like, let me correct you for your being fucking wrong.
Yeah.
All right. So let me make a quick note here on like we were talking about like her, she has a lot of lines, and that means she has a lot of like first time creator mistakes. I think that's most evident when he was talking about, why isn't she that interested in the game? Well, he said,
No,
well,
he's
you know, the premise I had was that like she's like investigating the inventory.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. She
It's
has
not like
like
a
the
mission, which by the way, Shamir already did. So the first thing you need to learn when you're a creator.
But Shamir did not do it well. So the thing is, like, it doesn't matter if someone else does it if you can do it better than they can. You are really high on that.
The first, okay.
Did someone die?
Are you currently in the middle of moving?
No, I'm grabbing a beer.
All right.
I'm gonna start. I need to get the mindset to bitch about Sword Art Online.
Well, I mean, we've spent a fair amount of time on her. I think it's coming to be time to move on.
Here's the thing, right? It's just something you need to learn as a first-time creator. First off, whatever creative premise you come up with for why your character is in the game, aside from just they want to play strip poker, you're not that clever, and it's not that interesting. Don't do that. The only reason she should be there is she wants to see people get naked. And the reason you made her and put her in the game should be you want to see her get naked and watch other people get naked. Otherwise, you have way overthought this shit.
Let me interject with something, if I may, real quick.
Hey, that's me.
Because we've talked about this with we've talked about this with her developer, and he brings up the retort that that her simply wanting to see people strip is out of character for her. Which that can be hard for some characters.
Wait, like, okay. I mean, all right, yes, I don't think Marinette and Adrian are coming to the inventory to like get a third, but alas, here we are, like concession to the genre.
It's like, dude,
right? And you have to suspend your disbelief a little bit, and you have to, I think, find a reason to make your character want to do those things rather than try to find some roundabout explanation for why they're there, because then it just never feels right.
I know you like her character. I know you like, you want to keep her in character, but like you also put her in here just so you could watch her strip and masturbate. Like you are not that dedicated to her character.
Well, it's possible to make her interested in the game without compromising her character.
I was about to say you can have a setup for a character. Like you can I actually think having a setup for a character, like how they got to the inventory, is a good idea. It just shouldn't be what defines the character. Like
it should be like one line and then never brought up again.
She brings up the explanation that she wants to investigate something. So I don't even think that is probably going to work as like a character thing for SPNatI, but even if that's the direction you wanted to go, she doesn't talk about the investigation that much throughout the rest of the game.
And I mean, she's basically procrastinating her investigation.
Yeah, like what investigation is she doing here?
Yeah, and it doesn't explain why she stays there once she gets uncomfortable and people start taking clothes off. Like that's why that explanation doesn't work, because
she'd just be like, "Oh, okay, well, this is clearly not what I was investigating."
I think you can actually add to that explanation, just being like, "Oh, then she gets into it," right? Like, okay,
yeah, you could do that. Like that could work.
Even that feels tortured. The only thing she should want to investigate is my ball sack.
Not yours. Someone far superior.
Ouch.
Yeah, maybe somebody with hair.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
I got hair on my ball sack.
Yeah, let's move on.
how about Bobobo?
Oh, Bobo.
I fucking love this. Also, like, I had like such a flashback to like late high school when Bobobo was airing, and I like didn't speak English super good yet. I just remember like having like a hallucinatory experience with Bobobo. I think this is like unironically one of the best written character, like one of the best written males in the game. The only problem is like, he is going to be a real character, but he is like definitely like a good April Fool's character. Like I don't know, I don't really have anything super concise to say. Just like, well done, sir, but also why you could have done anything.
All right, so I feel like we should, probably give some context for our uninitiated viewers.
Sure.
So Bobobo came out during April Fools. This man has like a giant afro and fights with his nose hair. This is clearly an April Fool's character, right?
He came out during. I forgot he came out during April Fools.
This is clearly an April Fool's character, and then his creator was just like, "No, it's real. He's here to stay." This motherfucker. Look at this mirror bee looking ass motherfucker. He's about to send out a 6 Ludicolos. Like,
Dude, Bobobo is like actually. I think what I love about Bobobo is that it feels really in character for Bobobo to come out of nowhere. Like no one knows who his author is, no one knows who his artist is, but it's really competently done. Like the art's pretty good. I think the poses are kind of stiff, but I mean it kind of works for the character. So like, but for writing's really good. Like he's coming with like 2,000 lines. Like I think the character's really funny. And like it has their unique energy. I think the only problem is that the character's not attractive, right? Like it's like once I get over the joke, am I going to have any reason to put Bobobo at a table, right?
I'm sure someone's into it.
Oh, I'm sure, right? But it's got to be niche, and I'm kind of curious to see how long Bobobo is talked about, right? But in the meantime, I think he's an excellent character. Like I think he's funny. I think he's a left field pick. I really love the left field picks, like that just come out of nowhere and no one knows, but then everyone's instantly on board with. And I like that he kind of like just surprises you with his strip sequence, right? Like it's just funny. Like it catches you off guard. And there's a lot of creative stuff in there that I kind of almost don't want to spoil. And I think that's like a strong thing to say about a character is like you don't want to spoil the character. So go play him. He's excellent.
He's definitely an experience.
Yeah, he's an experience.
Yeah.
That's a good way of putting it.
Well, this kind of messed up our rotation. Do you want to say something, Corky?
Yeah, I could talk about him real quick. I agree with a lot of what If I May said, so I'm not going to retread on that. But I do disagree with him when he talked about the character being unattractive.
Yeah.
Because it's hard because he's not really my type either, so I can't tell. I can't say that I'm attracted to him, but I do think he like looks appealing, and that's what I think is more important than like necessarily just attractiveness. Because, for example, like you can play Arufuda and not be into like thicker girls because she has an appealing character model. Does that make sense? And I think this is kind of a similar case here, where you might not be into a big hairy guy with an afro, but because he's expressive and because a lot of effort went into his art, it still looks appealing and it's still fun to play with.
I can actually accept this argument. I don't like it, but I can accept it.
I think no matter what you do, though, he needs a bulge. Like
I should just ask Napsu. I'll just like
well,
yell
here's
out.
the good news with Bobobo is that the name of the author escapes me. But
I have it up right now. Hold on. It's Fence.
Fence, right.
He does need a bulge. Look at that camel toe he's got going on.
They did a really good job of doing so well in terms of making the character funny and likable and just an overall fun experience to play with, that even if you're not super attracted to, he's still adding something to the table. And that's really smart for a character like this that not a lot of people are going to play because they're attracted to him. Like, he got everything else right, so the character still works.
This is like the kind of character, you know, there's like few times people like make a freaking YouTube video on this game and they scroll down and they're like, Navi's in the game? You know, like Bobobo is definitely one of those characters like, wait, they got Bobo, you know, like that kind of thing.
I'm so glad we have him. I'm
glad we have him. It's a character I would never in a million years ask for. I'd make like a shit post about this character and move on. But now that it's like, yeah, man, Bobobo. Like,
yeah, I never would have asked for him either, but I'm glad he's here.
It's like Johnny Bravo, but somehow better.
I'd be down for putting Johnny Bravo in the game. He's here to pick up all the chicks.
Actually, Johnny Bravo wouldn't be that bad. All right. Anyone else want to say something about Bobobo?
What else? What else can be said?
Yeah, it's Bobobo.
He is an experience that speaks to himself for himself. He speaks to himself too, but speaks for himself.
Anyway, so we had some discourse on original characters earlier with Supernova, and here we have Ibuki Miyoda.
Yeah, Critical Darling. This is Blue Coin's newest character, and I think as an OC, I like the design quite a bit, and that's because I'm kind of biased towards punk. Like I like punk designs. And I think that the character has a very pleasant combination of colors, right? Like you got this purple, black and white aesthetic with like a ripped, almost fire-shaped shirt, a plaid skirt, right? But it feels like the character is kind of an excuse to make a bunch of music references. Like, if I had to compare the character to anyone, it's almost like a newer version of Alpha. I think that's the character's name, right? Like, yeah, Alpha.
Like the girl who sings.
Yeah, the blue, like, cybernetic one.
The idol character. I mean, we got a lot of characters who sing now, but
Yeah, but like, when I play Critical Darling and I read the dialogue, it's like there's just a bunch of music references, and that sort of feels like the entire character sometimes. I don't really know that much about her personality that I can't just pick up just by looking at her, right? And I think that with an OC, you have the freedom to kind of have more depth and subvert those kind of things. So, I don't know. I think I'm not normally like on Team OC, but I think that this is a character that actually has some decent potential. What do you guys think about the character?
I'd say, I mean, I think you actually summed up my thoughts on that really well. I think she's cute, and what I like is that the baseline's really good. I think Blue Quinn is a writer.
Pardon the pun.
What? Oh, yeah. I think
The baseline.
Yeah. I think this could be a really, like, I really like the personality that is there based on like some of her targeted lines where she's just kind of snarky, but she's not like she's a little obnoxious, but in a way that's kind of endearing. I would like to see her interact with more characters though. That's because I think that's where it shines. Like the generics are hard. I'd really like to see her do more with targeted lines to really round her out.
I feel like I said this about Supernova, but if you're an original character, I think you really have to go hard on targeting to sort of endear yourself to both like other creators and players.
I think that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think there needs to be a certain flexibility. You have to really know what you're selling to the audience, right? Because if you don't have...
she's selling is Ibuki Miyoda, right?
Yeah, well, like, if you don't have a clear idea of what your OC is supposed to be, then no one's going to have a clear idea of what your OC is supposed to be.
But I think her vision is pretty clear.
The vision's clear. Yeah. I'm saying, though, that in order to communicate that vision, I think targets are essential.
I think she's cute. She's got a pretty appealing design. I think it might have been like Arndress who said this about like OCs, but like there was almost certainly an established character that kind of plays to the same archetype.
Oh, that you can pull from?
You could make instead.
I would definitely agree with that.
I think it might have been him.
There's pretty much a character for every OC that has like an established character equivalent. It's tough though because I think a lot of people are drawn to making original characters because like it's their character, so they have that love and charm for them that they wouldn't have for the established character.
Yeah,
that's similar to them. So I can understand it, like for the person who made it, like that statement doesn't make any sense to you because you're like, well, I like this character, they're different. But from the outside perspective, nobody is familiar with them, so like they're not gaining that extra love that you have for the character because you designed it, if that makes sense. It's sort of that joke that one person is interested in an original character and it's the creator. Like you have to get people interested in your character when you make an OC. If you make an established character, like that work's already been done by like really good writers and artists, and that's why people already like those characters. So
the OC solution is just to like pick someone and then make bait entirely for that person, and then you succeed and make the best character in the game.
Yeah.
So anyway, go play MET DLC.
Basically.
So any other thoughts on Critical Darling? SPNanon.
My take is, if you feel like you won't be able to capture an established character that everyone wants, and you don't feel worthy of taking on that project, just remember that people like Samus. And you could put in the most minimal fucking effort.
Well, and if you pick a character that people love and are interested in, they're going to be rooting for you the entire way to succeed.
Yeah, really, no matter what you do. As long as you're not, like, spitting on the face of a character, as long as you're not, like, adding something really weird to the character that no one else sees in them, right?
You could shit into like a Burger King paper bag and then post like a JPEG of Samus's face onto it, and people will go for it.
This brings up a point. I'd argue that the state of like the bar for failure is actually pretty like. Actually, I don't know if that's the right term, but it's pretty low. It's kind of hard to really fail at a character as long as you get all the essentials done, as long as you write all of your targets, and as long as you write all of your generics, right?
That's a big if.
That's a big if.
That's a big if.
But hear me out. As long as you don't write anything offensive, at worst, you're just going to have a boring character with potentially decent art that people might gloss over, right? I don't know.
That's true. Don't make your established character horribly offensive.
Yeah, I mean, well, and we've had that happen in the past.
Leo.
Like, yeah, like
Shiva.
Obviously, no one wants to make a character, and this isn't even talking about Critical Darling anymore. This is just
No
talking
one
about
wants to make a character.
Yeah, it's
no,
true.
no one wants to make a character. You're right. People want to think about making characters.
It's fun to imagine making a character.
Yeah, then you actually start doing it. It's like, oh, right, this part. How long does this part last? Oh, 6 months? Yeah, okay, that sounds about right.
Oh, removing minor lines? My favorite.
Yeah. I got into rambling about character standards in general. I think what I mean to say, though, is that as long as just discipline yourself and go for the character, right? Oh, that's so basic. Let's move on. Next up, we got Hilda.
So finally, the best fucking Poké Girl, right? You know, everyone. You know, Gen 5 is coming back. Everyone loves it. She's got these cute as hell booty shorts, that bomb ass ponytail. She's just adorable. She's bending over for you the whole game.
It's Free Houses, Hilda.
Oh,
It's Fire Emblem.
oh.
Well,
you know, I'm really excited because we've never had a Fire Emblem character before, so that's still cool.
yeah, you know, we haven't even had a Fire Emblem character on this podcast before. So, yeah, no, we haven't even talked about this before.
I didn't realize we could get Fire Emblem character on the podcast.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, isn't it? I'm a wannabe Fire Emblem character.
I would love to talk to the real Hilda.
The real Hilda. I mean, of all the characters from Free Houses, Hilda is probably one of the character most likely to actually play this game. I probably, since I'm guessing I'm the only person here who has even touched Free Houses. Like, is that correct?
That would be correct. Yes, I have not played it.
Yeah.
In my mind, Fire Emblem is still like Marth and Roy.
Okay. So
Marth is the girly one, but he's much better to actually play as. And Roy, you know, you want him to be good, but he's so shit.
unless it's Smash Ultimate, then Roy's better than Marth.
What is this Smash Ultimate? I'm really excited for Brawl coming out soon.
Hilda is
hey guys,
like.
have you seen the new trailer for the Revolution?
Dude, have you seen them? Have you seen that they're adding Sonic to Smash Brothers?
What?
I know that'll be the craziest Smash Brothers pick they ever make. Anyways, Hilda is like, I mean, she's basically just this noble who's very pampered, very lazy, and is a lot smarter than she lets on. And she's also incredibly strong, which I think that's just. I'm just gonna post this comic, and I'm gonna have Solitaire throw it up on stream because I think it just kind of describes her personality for anyone who is unfamiliar with the character. Like it pretty much just sums it up perfectly. Spnanon, get your Pokemon waifu out of here.
I just want to fuck her on the subway.
Do it offline. Do it offline, where no one can hear you. But I think as a SPNatI character, I'm pleasantly surprised by how well, because you know it's a new writer, right? We have a lot of characters on testing right now with new writers, and they captured Hilda's personality really perfectly. Like it's you kind of have that pretend ditzy, oh, I don't know what's going on, I have no idea what I'm doing, but there's like this kind of confident, like snarkiness going on there too at the same time, where she's reading people.
I really like Hilda. Like I didn't go in expecting much, to be honest, because I was like, okay, it's Fire Emblem, whatever. But like she's very cleverly written. I think the character archetype is something I haven't seen in SPNatI, where she's like kind of a diva, but she's not annoying. You know what I mean? Like she doesn't like lean into it. There's like something of substance there. I really like the character. My only real criticism is on the model, like the fact that she's marked as hairy and you just like can't see her bush at all is really like not. I don't know. I think like that's the hard part.
Seems like the best of both worlds to me.
Well, using like I don't know, like using lighter color like pubic hair just like doesn't work, like because you can't see it, and I think that's the problem with like having pale skin and like a lighter hair. So that's my really only criticism there.
Dude, what if you went down on a girl and she just like had like extremely fine, wispy like hairs that you couldn't even see?
I mean, then does it matter? It's like does a tree fall in the forest?
Oh God, we're falling into freaking profound waterfall haiku shit. No, I think that I think the face really needs to be improved, which it is going to be improved. Halo has talked about that. He is going to improve on the model. And frankly, I think that once the model is improved, I think this will probably be one of the best Fire Emblem characters. If not, it could even end up being the best Fire Emblem character we have. Like, because it just fits the game, right? Like, again, Hilda is like this kind of diva that is very kind of capable when she wants to be. And there's so much you can do with that from a targeting perspective. She likes to get other people to do stuff for her. She's very big on pampering people and complimenting them to get them on her good side. Like, it just kind of works out. And she's close friends with this, like, trickster type character who would also be perfect for the game. But again, I won't go into him for fear of nerding out. Yeah, I think there's not that much more to say about Hilda just because she's just extremely competently pulled off. Like it's everything the character's promised.
I don't know if it speaks to like our rising standards or like better creator collaboration, or if it's just, you know, Three Houses characters are good and popular and they inspire this kind of good work. But I've been impressed with pretty much every Three Houses character we've gotten, to be fair. I might not be super excited about another Fire Emblem character, but they have all been solid projects.
Yeah, no, it's got a lot of good characters. Like the thing with Three Houses is like you think you see the character at first, and I think this works well with SPNatI as well. Is you think you understand what they're all about, and then they actually start talking, and you realize that there's a little bit more nuance there that you didn't see before. And again, I think Hilda captures that. After Hilda is Senko, someone very near and dear to nmasp.
Really?
I don't know really that much about.
I like Senko. I don't know why it's this whole thing about like, oh, she's like near and dear to me. I like Senko, but we'll get there. We'll get there.
Well, I mean, Napsu made Senko. Yeah, well, we'll get there. I don't know anything about Senko.
The helpful fox. She is a helpful fox, apparently. I'm going to assume, nmasp, that you have been at least exposed to her source material, given that it has been played in your household.
Yeah, I watched it. I found it kind of hard to watch after like halfway through, because it's like I have some complicated feelings about this show for a wide variety of reasons. But the first one is like it can't decide what kind of show it is, because it's like half the time it's like, oh, it's just so like tender and nice, and it's like, I don't know about you guys, but there's something about like coming home from a job and just like nothing is done in the house and everything feels like shitty. And it's like, oh, I just worked a full day. I'm fucking tired, and now I have to do like dishes or, you know, shit like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you know, and then like, but like in Senko, it's basically like, well, imagine you had someone who like took care of those things for you, or like there was like a nice meal on the stove, just like very simple things. And then like you're like, oh wow, this is actually like I'm so jealous of this. This is such good wish fulfillment. And then like halfway through, it's like, oh, but it's kind of also a sex allegory, and I'm like, oh no, not. No, so it's like, because like it's very clear it's like, oh, you know, she looks like a child, and it's like, I don't really like this, you know, why did you have to make it sex things? Anyway.
Huh.
She looks like a fox to me, I don't know.
I think in the art in SPNatI is a lot more forgiving than like the art in the anime, because like,
yeah, I was just about to say that.
I'm always like, oh yeah, so this is like, I'll look at the art in the game or something, and like I'll be talking to Abs, and she's like, oh, this is what Senko looks like, and I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. And then like you go and look at the show, and you're like, wait a minute, what? No.
Yeah, I when I looked up pictures of the source, that's kind of how I felt, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like, but I think Napster did a good job at bringing kind of a wholesome energy to the character, right? Like it's sort of weird. It's like they maintained the wholesome energy while not making it feel out of place. Like it's like wholesomely wanting to play the game, right? Which I think is kind of a unique character trait. Like we don't have that many characters that like kind of stay like, oh, I'm friendly and I want everyone to be nice and have a good time, like through every single stage, right? I don't know. I can't think of any other character off the top of my head that kind of pulls it off this authentically, I want to say. Yeah, but other than that, I don't have that much to say about Senko because, again, it's another just relatively competently made character who takes a relatively new direction, I think. But not a character I would pick immediately just by viewing the source material. What do you think about spnanon?
So back when nmasp was like doing 80 on the freeway to go get pizza, we were talking about Polly.
I had to pick up fucking anyway. I'll bitch about this later, but yeah, it's super stupid. Yeah,
The aftertaste.
I'll bitch about it now. In fact, we left some cheese at like a friend's place, and like apparently
So it was pizza.
it became super important that I go and get this. I'm like, can they just like eat it? And it's like, no, we can't just like dump things at our friends' places. I'm like, okay, fine. So I went and got it, But anyway. I'll let you guys go back to it. I do have thoughts on Senko too, and then I think Corky does, and so is spnanon.
Okay, so when nmasp was doing that, we were talking about Polly, and I talked about how Polly kind of gets around that problem that I think a lot of creators have, where they're a little unwilling to kind of go into the sex talk because of how forward she is, and I think I've seen this with Senko too. I think like Napster has historically done a pretty good job with that, and I think that's why her characters tend to be pretty well received. Is that they sort of kind of transition into that flirting, that sex talk pretty well. Ironically, coming from the good church girl, it seems to be like one of her strengths as a creator, and it's why her characters are always like they always kind of go over really well. And I see it with Senko too.
Yeah. I really like I like Senko. I think she's really different than a lot of characters. It's still just like, well, I don't know. I don't think she's my favorite character that Napsu has done, but I do think she's different and is interesting. I think it's kind of like Napsu does this thing where she tries to pick projects that are taking something from a source material that she feels could be done better, essentially, and then goes with that. And I think this is one of those cases just because I don't know. There's a lot of problematic elements in the show, and I think this, instead of splitting the difference, this kind of commits to one sin or the other, as it were. I think she's cute.
I'm kind of the same way with Maya.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I just want more from this, or like, I wish this was explored more, or done better.
I wish this was a little better. Yeah, I think it's really strong.
Just vomit out a bunch of lines about what I want it to be.
Yeah, I think this is going to be really strong. It's really nice to see it going in a good direction. Yeah, I think there's like it's sort of early for the character in some ways. Like I think the generics are done, but it's going to be interesting to see how the targeted lines shake out. Because I think because this character is so focused on pleasing others, and some like both in the typical game context as well as just in general, it's going to leave room for a lot of interesting dialogue. So that's my beliefs on this character.
I got a different take I can drop on Senko.
Go for it.
So I had never heard of Senko, and I haven't played her in SPNatI yet, but I still really like her because in the Banter Wizard, which for those who don't know is a little channel we use just to kind of toss targets at people, kind of like in an experimental roleplay kind of live way of doing it.
The firing range?
Yes. And did I say Banter Wizard? I think I did.
Yeah, you said Banter.
I'm at the Banter firing range, my bad.
Banter Wizard is the old like targeting tool in the character editor that doesn't work anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, so ignore that. Anyway, she's been throwing Senko in the banter firing range from time to time, and I've gotten to interact with her with Charlie, and I think I might have had one with Constance too. She's been a lot of fun to interact with as a developer, as a writer, on just kind of a different perspective on it. And I think just because of how much fun she's been and how much of an impression she's made on me, just from really only a handful of lines, probably about a dozen or so that I've actually seen total from Senko. But those lines gave me such a good impression of her, and like a bold one, that I think she's going to be pretty successful in the game, because if she's that fun to interact with as a developer, I bet she's going to be fun to play with.
I kind of like this, I kind of feel like this is in some ways like Napsu's attempt to really go for that front page. I think like that's really kind of a developer goal for her, or like the first row, I guess. And for those of you that don't remember the days of having to flip through pages.
Yeah, it used to be pages.
Well, if she wanted the first row, why didn't she make a Fire Emblem Three Houses character?
I mean, I don't know. I'll go ask her. But I think
you have to buy her 3 houses now. Do it, and she'll make the most successful SPNatI character of all time.
She doesn't like it's. Maybe she could actually play 3 houses. She's been playing a lot of Dead by Daylight recently, which is very, very strange to watch, because it's like weird to watch your spouse be like, "Yeah, fuck these guys, I'm gonna murder them good," and I'm like, "Who are you?" So anyway, she's like, "I got the chainsaw," and she's just cutting up these survivors that are screaming, and she just looks very placid, and I'm like, "Well, that's
relationship goals to me."
Yeah, I mean, well, I guess we'll get there with Ayano, I suppose. But anyway, yeah. So
fair point.
Yeah, thanks for the comments, Corky. SPNanon, Corky. Any final thoughts before we move on to Wikipe-tan?
What is Senko the Helpful Fox going to help me with?
You already know.
Yeah. Like if you have to ask, you already know the answer.
Yeah, no. It just knowing SPNanon. No, you know the answer, and so do I. So is everyone watching.
You know the rules.
Dear God. Okay. Wikipe-tan or Wikipe-tan is actually
Wikipe.
I don't know. That's hard.
Has it been Tan this whole time? I've been calling her Wiki-chan.
It's Tan.
I'll call her Wicked-tongue.
Corky, I'm the dyslexic one.
Oh God.
I don't. What exactly is like the strict difference? Like Tan is like if you are a literal like personification of it, right?
Is that what it is? I've never heard Tan until now.
Chan is just like a term of endearment.
Chan is like inferior term of endearment. Tan is superior term of endearment. So it's like Mr. or Mrs. Like San is like the like equivalent one. Tan is like slightly higher status. And then like you have like Han, which is a regional dialect thing that Napsu uses for some fucking reason, because I think it was like that was the regional dialect of Japanese spoken in Taiwan during the occupation. Anyway, sorry. Okay. I think there's like so I think Tan is like a little bit of a superior title.
Well, first April Fool's character to hit testing, like if I said you're not counting Bobobo, which is an idea.
So this character is like an internet meme.
Yeah.
We've like thrown around a couple
of
internet
efforts.
memes before. Like there was a Smug Wendy's project for a while.
I think April Fool's. It happened a lot more with this April Fool's, but I think April Fool's is definitely an interesting testing ground, because you can basically put very little effort into a character and just see if it sticks, right? And you can be really experimental and people won't question you on it. Like I had a few April Fool's characters that I was considering making just to see if they would be MainRoster viable. I didn't end up doing it because I got deeper obligations that I got mixed up in.
Get with the mix.
Anyway, Wikipe-tan is the free use encyclopedia girl that anyone can edit.
I think there's something interesting going on there.
I think it's a very funny concept, right? It's sort of like I used to always champion for the addition of Internet Explorer-chan, and I think Wikipe-tan is very much a very similar type of character, where it's like we're basically just going to make fun of the internet as a whole. Like we're going to make fun of something that pretty much everyone is familiar with, and having Wikipedia-styled facts is just kind of, I don't know, I see a lot of potential in that. and Spaceman seems incredibly passionate about it.
He seems like he's like really sticking to it, which is, not necessarily what you'd expect for a meme character.
Mm-hmm.
I do think what would be really great with her actually is go look at like Kizuna-ai and check out her tags and stuff like that. I think there's a lot of things you could steal / adjust. I also think the free use angle, like when she's like getting down and dirty, is very compelling. Not just like, it's definitely not like my thing, but I do think it's done really well for this character, and I think that's like really funny.
Don't go full moon on it, don't vandalize her.
No, but I think it's like, I just find it to be really amusing that it's like, SPNatI, like none of us are writing porn. You know what I mean? Like if you're like that good at that, you're not writing it here in SPNatI. Sorry.
Is taking responsibility with her the equivalent of like citing your sources?
Yeah, I guess so. Spawn some child articles.
Some references.
Has she already made a joke about us expanding a stub?
I think having some humor is really good. I think even though she started as an April Fool's character, there's ways to make her legitimate, like in the sense of like, this is a character that people will play with and enjoy and have fun with. And, she's never going to be like top 20 material just because of the limited nature of who she is. But I do think there's plenty of room for her to be very interesting and good on her own. She falls into that like Kizuna-ai box of like, this character is really good and interesting and technically proficient, and also has the advantage of like, in 6 months you can say, how do I do targeted lines, or how do I do filter lines, or something like that, and say like, go look at Wikipe-tan. You know what I mean? Like, I think having characters like that are instrumental for helping other developers develop is really important.
That's a good perspective.
I feel like as far as like dropping facts the whole game, that's kind of like what Wii-Fit Trainer does. I feel like she could kind of get in on that angle.
It's a lot more flexible than Wii Fit, though. No pun intended.
Well, yeah, she can talk about more subjects, just fitness.
Yeah.
It definitely helps. I mean, they even sound the same. Wikipedia, Wii-Fit Trainer.
The one thing I think could be a little bit better about that, too, is because this was the one issue I had playing her, is that at some points it felt like I was playing with the textbook, because she was just going off and off and off and on about just really long like Wikipedia article topics, which I get that's kind of the point of the character, but I would have liked to see a little bit less of just Wikipedia article and more character and personality behind it. So maybe instead of reading an article about blue skinks, she could like kind of imply that she was thinking about it and bring up something about blue skinks that she really likes that she saw in an article or something like that. Or maybe kind of
add a little bit more human to it.
I feel like literally copy pasting a Wikipedia article is more like a holdover from April Fools.
Yeah, it probably is.
You want to add a little bit of spice to the line.
Yeah,
as a character.
I haven't played her since she's been on April Fools. Like, full disclosure, I wasn't expecting to be on a podcast to talk about her. So, but
welcome to Fuck
I played her on April Fools, haven't played her since. So I'm sure a lot of the things I didn't like don't even exist on her anymore. But he's also been doing a lot of hard work to make her art look fantastic. So
yeah, she's really cute.
A lot of props for that. He's working so hard to make her look the best that he can.
Yeah, I'm kind of waiting for the art update before I really sit down and dig into the character.
Mm-hmm. He's been doing a good job so far.
Yeah. No, I think the character has a lot of potential, and it mostly just comes from the fact that passionate creator, right? If the creator's passionate and has an actually good idea, then like the character will just have potential no matter who they are, right?
You can tell when a character's developer is really passionate and loves the character.
Yeah.
You know, and you can tell when the opposite is true, when you've got a talented developer, but they're writing someone that they don't really believe in.
Can you give an example?
Oh, boy.
Spill the tea. Spill it.
No, don't.
Fuck you, Corky.
I'm not doing it.
No, we summoned him. You can't just summon him and they're like, hey, you want to give us your hot takes on other people? Like, you can't just do that.
By appearing on this podcast, you agree that I own you. So therefore, I've summoned you into my fucking binding circle.
I own a share in him too.
I'll actually give you a good example then. Mei Hatsume is a character that had a lot of talent, but...
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's a good answer.
Throw yourself into the fire, huh?
But it just wasn't. It wasn't a character any of us just really absolutely loved the hell out of. So, and I think that probably shows in her writing, even though it's very unfinished. Don't waste your time playing with her.
If you want to write a character, you got to be willing to marry them.
That's true, actually.
At least for a couple months.
I can make another assumption of a character that kind of fits the bill, but I don't know for sure that they do, so I'm probably wrong about it.
You could just put it in the chat, and then we'll keep it as a secret pact between all of us.
But then everyone will just speculate.
I'll just say it because it's one of your characters, and I don't think you'll hate me for bringing it up.
Oh yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah. Beat up nmasp.
You made, as far as I know, as the story goes, you made a character that like you had never heard of, right?
Oh yeah, no, I actually really like. I do really like Say. I just got really tired of writing her. Like I think I basically was like, this character is so close to being finished, and then I wrote like a couple thousand more lines for her. I do really like Say. I think like she's in a really good state for the game. People can dramatically improve her, and Mike is going to do that. But I
Say needs some art.
I mean, she does.
I bet you that'll make a big difference though, like because Say's a character Mike really loves, and like
yeah. I mean, Beta has the art for her.
I'm not saying
I don't.
I can't even say Say isn't good because I haven't played with her in so long. So it's not like one of those things where I can tell you, oh, I played with her and it was obvious you didn't care about her. Like it's not one of those things.
I mean, I think I cared about all my characters. I just don't care about them for long enough to sustain them. Like I mean, even Marinette. Marinette's a character I really want to write. I just don't have time. It's also like after 11 characters, you're just like,
yeah, you just get bored of a project.
I can relate to that with Emmy.
Yeah. Emmy's great. I love Emmy though.
Because Emmy's a character I really enjoy and really like. But it's been 3 years now, I think, since I've started working on her. So it definitely gets harder to, continue to have the same passion for the same character for that long. And that's kind of why I haven't updated her that much recently. So.
Dude, you cannot just burn out on this before we finish our conversation with my girls.
I don't know how you do it, dude.
Actually, that's a good point. I don't know how spnanon stays.
He writes the same damn character.
I want to have sex with Maya.
3 years and 40,000 lines later, and he's not showing any signs of slowing down. So, props, dude.
I want to have sex with her.
Hey, Corky, how do you feel if I adopted Emmy?
If I write enough lines for Maya, then Aphrodite will come down and make her real.
That'll be your blessing, spnanon. That'll be when spnanon dies.
If I sculpt her for long enough.
When spnanon dies, because of the hard work he's put in, that will be the last thing he sees for 10 seconds. Like the last sight the human sees before.
She's gonna appear to me for fucking instrumentality.
Okay.
Before I turn into Orange Tang.
Speaking of instrumentality,
dude, that's sad. I'd love to watch. I like talking with Emmy. I like targeting her.
I really enjoyed those conversations, and I want to finish them. I do not want to untangle the spaghetti of the branches that we made because it's been so long since we've written them.
I'll figure it out and explain it to you.
That's the thing with coming back to older characters.
I'm going to have to go in there and figure out where we left off with each stage and which line went where, and I just don't have the energy to do it. So that's why I haven't responded.
I honestly feel like most of those conversations were done, and we just need to make
I think they were, and I would just have to go and look, and that just takes a long time. I'm sorry. I'll get to it at some point.
Maybe if I was working harder, we'd have done that already.
I'm just kind of putting all my energy into trying to get Charlie on testing right now.
Hell yeah. No, Charlie's going to be
great. Sounds good.
Charlie's going to be top tier.
I hope so.
Maybe you should explain who Charlie is.
Right. That's probably...
Let's add another character to the podcast lineup. Why not?
Let me go find a picture while I talk about this. Charlie is a Has-Been Hotel character. And if you don't know what Has-Been Hotel is, it's a story about a Disney princess in hell who wants to basically teach every sinner how to be a good person. And it started as a pilot on YouTube. It's about a half hour long, and it's been picked up, and it's going to turn into like an entire show on some streaming service that I've never heard of. So yeah, that's Charlie.
She's like Satan's daughter, right?
Yes, she is literally Satan's daughter.
Yeah. And hell has like this overpopulation problem, so they're just like kind of just discarding souls.
Yeah, go watch it. I think the less you know about it, the better. Just go watch it. It's so charming. It has so much personality.
Its animation is phenomenal.
It's so good. It's some of my favorite. It's got some of my favorite character design, which probably is not coming as a surprise to a guy who's spending months trying to put her into a poker game. But I love the character designs in this show. They're some of the best I've ever seen. The animation, it just has so much heart and love and time put into it. It's all hand drawn. It doesn't look like it's been tweened to hell like some of what you see on actual television these days. It's just incredible. I love it to pieces.
Corky, I think you actually know every single keyframe that Charlie's on screen. Like I think you
pretty much have. No, I literally went through the pilot episode.
Yeah.
And I watched it, and I would stop it and take a screenshot every time Charlie made an interesting looking face. And I just have a huge list of these reference images, and that's how I pose her.
He sent them to me.
I want to make her as expressive as possible. That's my goal with her. She's one of the most expressive characters I've ever seen, like in a show like this. And my goal bringing her into SPNatI was to capture as much of that as I could.
That's the kind of passion you need, man, to get to the top. How does it feel writing a character with legs?
With legs?
Yes.
It's really strange because I have all these extra body parts that she can talk about.
And not just like really long legs too. Like 3 times the leg.
She does have very long legs.
Can you post a picture of your model in chat? As well as like 12 different keyframes?
That's what I'm trying to find a good like picture from her from the show, but
don't you have every picture of her?
Make Solitaire do it.
The interesting thing about Charlie is that I probably never would have made her if it weren't for a friend of ours named Underscore who made a really interesting model of her a long time ago. I think it was like a year or two ago at this point. But nobody had really ever tried to make a model with proportions like Charlie has before in Kisuke, at least not like without severely like limiting them. Like no one's actually tried to go 1-to-1 with it like he did. And I remember seeing it when he posted it and being like, wow, that's just like really cool that he just went for it and he kind of pulled it off. And then I kind of forgot about it until Spaceman came along and started talking about making her. And I was like, I should look into who this character is. So I went and watched it and fell in love with it. And that's why I'm working on it now. It's a fun story.
No, I'm really excited for Charlie. And you need to finish it right now.
Is masturbation a sin, according to her?
I guess you'll have to play her and find out.
That pretty much covers every single testing table character besides the Masquerade, which is an entire beefy list in its own right.
Well, we're gonna keep going. So
I keep all right. First up, Mia Fey.
We're at like the 2-hour mark. I'd honestly like to just save that for next time.
All right, next time we'll get back to the Masquerade and April Fools.
I know it took us 2 months to schedule this one.
We'll try to get the other one on soon.
Yeah, I'm getting a little tired myself.
I mean, a lot of these Masquerade characters are still being worked on anyway, so it's.
Do we want to like talk about the April Fool's characters while it's still even a margin of relevant? Like, then we can cap off.
Okay, we are going to.
Lightning round.
Okay, when we say lightning round, we really fucking mean it this time.
Just saving names because I can't even remember every single April Fool's character.
All right, here's how I'm thinking we should do this. All right, I'm gonna read off the characters. I have a list of all the April Fool's characters.
10-second answer, no more, no less.
Yeah,
I'm gonna give you like 5 seconds. Just spit out.
Okay, bring it on.
Whatever, this is like one of those Sigmund Freud like free association shit. Just like. You have enough time to talk about them. I don't even think we should just take turns. Just shout things out. I'm gonna like read them off and like post pictures.
No.
Yes, do it.
Just make it a big clusterfuck.
All right, sounds good.
No.
All right, so let's start with the homegrown hero here, the one we have some connection to, Costanze, George Costanza himself.
George Costanza.
A+, make her into a real character, Corky. She's good.
Was she like Komi-san or something?
Oh yeah, no. Constance is brilliant.
She's so fucking funny.
I was skeptical about Constance, but then you made Constance, and then Constance was really good. The end.
Anyway, now we have the most the sexiest character from April Fools. We have Megamix.
Peak character design.
This is like, you may not like it, but this is what peak performance looks like.
He is the king of April Fools. I don't think anything is ever going to top him.
No, I don't think so.
Now, wake
Next.
me up. Wake me up inside, death.
Wake me up inside, Deb. Just
This is not an April Fool's character. This is just beta bait. Next.
Honestly, I wish Beta would, like, it's just more Beta being Beta. I love his work. I wish he'd do more of it.
Yeah, same.
Now we have Ninetails. I gotta be honest, Arcanine is the better version exclusive.
I think I remember when someone genuinely wanted to make this an actual character.
I can't believe that Senko has come so far so quickly.
Arcanine, better base stat total. The champion has Arcanine. We know who the clear victor is. Although this did make me think I really want to write a targeted line to her now. Like I think Jura would totally have like a pet Vulpix.
It's not 5 seconds, spnanon.
Next.
I'm in control here. I've got the
Yeah,
list. I'll talk for as long as I fucking want. Anyway, now we have the character that always throws me for a loop as I scroll through the list of characters in the files. We have Sex Toilet.
The only Better Call Saul character we're ever gonna get.
I gotta say about the Sex Toilet, it's there's reason, a man's gotta have rules, and those rules are humanoid anatomy. And anyway, back to policy updates. I'll see you all in 60 hours when we finish the debates.
Oh, no.
You get exactly what it says on the tin.
Can't we have like Marie Schrader from this universe so she can like wear all purple?
That's for the purple fandom to think about.
All right, next.
Let's see what we got here. I found like there's apparently like a deleted scene of like Hank and Marie having like BDSM sex.
Oh, really?
I think so. I found that on YouTube.
Who's taking it? Hank?
I think so. Well, he can't walk at that point, so like,
Oh my
she's
God,
just like
that's
crawling all over the bed. There's like a YouTube video of it of like them like they replaced the clip of like Walter's fake confession and they're watching it with like that like apparently he has their sex tape.
That's really funny.
Anyway, this is not lightning round. Next we got as soon as I can find it here, we have just a good character that encourages some very bad practices. Alola Mom.
Oh no! Oh no!
Ara.
It's the queen of April Fools.
It's the queen of it.
I gotta say, it's like, this will never be topped. Phone box, you fucking madman. You've done it again. Sasuga, phone box.
Why does everyone want it? My favorite. I was like, wow, that's a really funny joke. And then I went on Reddit and it wasn't a joke anymore.
Wait, what was the joke?
The joke is that milk comes out her tits, which, which is Hector's personal monkey's paw.
It's Moon's mom.
I mean, I'm into
That's the funniest shit I've ever seen.
Aether Foundation punchline is so good at the end, where like she has the fucking Aether Foundation come to capture and take Moon away. Like that's genuinely brilliant.
You have Taiyaki Girl, which I don't know what Taiyaki is because I'm not that much of a weeb.
Yeah, I don't know either. I know nothing.
I still didn't know anything about this girl after I played her, so.
I think the girl is cute. I think the fish suit is more attractive, though. Look at that wide, succulent mouth.
Oh,
Fish sticks.
The closest thing to Void that we're ever gonna get.
she's cute.
Now we have a star of Smash Bros. Ultimate, Sans Undertale.
Oh, Sans Undertale, the absolute legend.
I accept this.
My only regret is that Megalovania doesn't play at full blast when you select them.
Next, we have the thing that we all wish we had. Girlfriend.
It's the ketchup bottle.
Oh, she is the ketchup bottle. Again, this did anyone remember when this game actually came out? Because this game just like Friday Night Funkin'.
What is Friday Night Funkin'?
Yeah, like everyone was just talking about one.
It's like Parappa the Rapper.
Yeah, but yeah, people love this character, and I can see why.
I don't really get it, but yeah, I mean, whatever. It's just,
People.
Next, we have Tick from the
You guys want to
Tick.
know a secret? If you make a character that looks appealing and cute, they're going to do pretty well. And Girlfriend's a good example of.
Oh, didn't think about that.
Speaking of appealing and cute, we have Tick from Brawl Stars.
I
which
actually really like Tick.
I don't want to hear any fucking jokes anymore about how like I'm secretly like on the Vandred staff. Because can we talk about how fucking Rotom just makes nothing but Brawl Stars characters now? Who currently on the fucking App Store,
currently on the App Store.
available now.
Play Tick with Megamix and one other character. You could I want there to be a full table of people who die at the end, and Tick is one of them. Tick just blows up, and that's it. That's the end.
You could pick a character that's already.
Next we have here Pot of Greed.
Brilliant
Yeah.
character.
Would Yu-Gi-Oh cards ever banned or something? If
Yeah.
only we had Joe on.
I genuinely wheezed for like 3 minutes straight.
Anyway, I never played what it does because I've seen that. And next we have Koneko.
oh, Konek, fuck are you talking about? And she worked on like the other one,
Character.
not this one, extending her into a full character, which is
Yeah,
kind of cool.
I
Like,
think the face needs a drastic improvement, but after that, yeah, no, I think I'm on Team Magma. Let's go. Let's drop a bunch of rockets into a volcano because that makes sense.
Krakatoa!
You want to destroy the ocean? What, you live in the? Yeah, no. Anyways,
In the words of Maxie from the original Nuzlocke comic, how could water be good?
fair point. All right, next.
So a couple episodes back, or maybe last episode, we talked about Ruka, and now we have Raku.
Who is?
Here she is.
Koneko-chan.
What? This is just the last character you posted before. It's literally the same thing.
I'm pretty sure Napsu wrote some lines on this. I'm not sure, but like, it just like I remember her like this character has like some expression that's like the funniest fucking thing. Let me see if
Is
it's
this?
just. It's like she
Yeah,
goes
see if
like
you can pull it up.
cross-eyed. She goes like cross-eyed. It's just like, and then one of the lines I think is just like, "Wow, I lost my train of her." like, I think it's like I think it might be like Zero Dur or something like that. SPNanon.
Ooh, oh, okay. Let me find it.
Yeah, it's worth posting. I think.
I got it here somewhere. Raku-chan. I see.
I think
Is
that
that
might
it?
be. I think that might be it.
I
No,
see
that's
Angie, Calm, Cheer, Cover 0 through 4.
I think it's
So
It's,
let me get. So this is just Temmie, is what you're trying to tell me.
I think it's Temmie. Yeah. Oh my god, that's why Napsu wanted to write it. I totally understand.
It's just Temmie
Her Temmie's gonna go to college.
without the moral ambiguity of actually adding Temmie.
We can't add Temmie because like her the person who wrote Temmie is like explicitly said, please do not lewd Temmie.
The person who wrote Temmie is literally named Temmie. It's literally her character,
So-
of her.
Oh god,
Yeah, it's a caricature of her. So like, yeah, no.
I feel like if I put a character named Porky in a game.
Now let's time warp back to 2011 for our final April Fool's character, I believe, because who? Well, first we have Cross-eyed, now we have Wall-eyed. Derpina.
How does this character fare against Derpy Hoofs? Have him fight. It'll be a battle of the century.
She's fun.
I think, real quick, I think we can throw in a couple characters since last time have got some new alt costumes. For Easter, I'm not sure if this is active yet, or maybe it was before.
No, they're not active yet, I don't think.
May got a bunny costume.
May is also like not. We have to talk about May because she's in the masquerade. So
Yeah, we haven't talked about that
well,
yet.
May got a new update, and she also got a bunny costume. There it is.
Quality.
All right, Corky, you're into this.
It looks beautiful. What else is there to say? It's amazing.
it's very cute.
Doesn't seem to take after any clear bunny Pokemon, except for like Baneri a little bit.
Who cares? It looks beautiful.
All I know is that Lopunny is terrifying.
I think this is from like an actual point in the anime or something. Like I think it's actually based on something, but I could be wrong.
All I know about May in the anime is that apparently she had pretty big tits.
That is true. I remember as a
I
kid.
mean, between that and Dawn's short skirt, I mean, is it any wonder?
I think they actually outright said that they did that on purpose at one point.
Well, why wouldn't you if you could get away with it?
Did what on purpose? Sorry.
That they did like for short skirt. Like they genuinely made like Ash's sidekicks like sexually attractive to appeal to boys.
Well,
Like,
why wouldn't you do that?
I think they outright said that they made that a point of focus. at
Oh
some
my
point.
god.
Yeah.
Listen, it gets very lonely drawing all those in between frames in some dusty Korean basement somewhere.
Don't quote me. Don't quote me on that, by the way. But I think I remember hearing that at one point.
I'm gonna quote you on that. I'm writing a
Okay.
textbook about anime. I'm gonna quote you.
You're right. All right. Fair.
And that's the thesis.
It's the internet. Everything I say is final.
Anyway, she also has a ruby sapphire emerald outfit. So I think we've hit the end of the line here. We will talk about all these masquerade characters, May included,
Yes.
next time,
Ooh, exciting teaser.
which will definitely happen on time, quickly, with no delays.
Absolutely. See you all next week. Have a good night.
Also, thank you, Corky, for appearing so abruptly from our summoning ritual.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks to Mass for popping in and out. Thanks, if I may, for sticking with me the entire time here.
Yeah.
Thanks, Corky, for telling us about Asuna.
Yeah. So sorry.
You're making me talk so much. I'm one man.
All right, guys. Good night.
Any final thoughts? Anything you'd like to plug?
Go play for Lucina rework. I worked very hard on it. It's one reason I'm very tired.
Yeah, go play with Lucina. He did work really hard. He would always bug me about it. So go play her.
We'll talk about her next time. Put it on the agenda.
All right, sweet. Just consider her like a masquerade character. She's practically a rework.
Of a character that was still on testing.
Yes.
I mean, she's been in the game for 2 years, so it's
Yeah.
time for a rework.
Anyways, all right. That's my plug.
All
All
good.
right.
All right. All good.
All right, guys.
That's a wrap, folks.
Good night. Talk to you soon. We'll schedule the next one.
All right. Sumimasen.
All right.
right.
Bye-bye.
Sayonara.
Hold on. I'm gonna grab a quick glass of water. It's right there over on the other side of her room. I don't know why I put it there. But let me grab that real quick.
Are we good? Is this on? So anyway, moving on to Asuna Yuuki of Sword Art Online, who is
Are we on Asuna?